Welcome to the Global Teleclass, talking about connecting with the angels around you. Welcome, everybody. This is Geoffrey Hoppe, calling from Golden, Colorado, and I'm here on this beautiful mountain evening with my wife and partner, Linda Benyo.
Welcome, everyone.
It's good to have everybody online. I can feel the energy flowing through me. I know we have a lot of people online tonight. Matter of fact, we have so many that I've muted out all of the other callers. When we took a look at the numbers before, we had about 2,400 people subscribing to tonight's program, so it'd get pretty noisy if I took the mute off. So for the next little while here, we're going to just talk, we're going to gather our energies together, and we're going to really feel the angels around us. We've got about an hour together, and that's probably not near enough time to really cover this amazing and extensive subject, what it's like to feel the angels, what it's like to talk to them. So I just want to let everybody know right away that we are going to do a follow-up webcast in June. It'll be on the Crimson Circle website. I'll give you all that information in just a little bit. But in that webcast, we'll be able to go into more details, answer questions. We'll be able to make it longer than an hour and really get into some of this amazing topic of how do you feel the angels around you. Once again, I'm Geoffrey Hoppe. I'm here with my wife and partner, Linda Benyo. This is amazing. We're sitting here in our living room in Colorado connecting with people from all around the world. I'm going to ask Linda to start this session off with a little breathing. Breathing is an amazing thing. It's simple. It brings the energies in, and it gets all of us to start feeling again. So, Linda, if you would just lead us in a little conscious breathing, and to everybody listening in online tonight, just sit back, relax, and let's take a deep breath with Linda.
It's truly my joy, and I invite each one of you to just slow down, to take a moment and gift yourself with a deep and conscious breath, a deep breath that completely fills you, the breath that expands within you and expands out. Take a deep breath, and with each breath, you choose life. Take a deep breath, and for this next hour in particular, breathe and allow yourself to feel deeply. Breathe deeply. Breathe for you. Breathe.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Really helps set up the energy for tonight. As we get going, a couple of things. We'd love to know where you're from. We'd love to know who's listening in tonight. And while we're getting warmed up here, if you would, just send us a quick email. You don't need to put any message in it. Just in the subject line, put your city, state, and country, and send that email to speak.angels@gmail.com. I'll go through it again. Speak, S-P-E-A-K, angels@gmail.com. And in just a little bit, I'll ask Linda if she'd read off some of the locations where people are calling in from. But I know that we have people, of course, in the United States, Canada, all throughout South America. I know we have a lot of European listeners tonight, well, it's actually in your morning right now. We have people from Australia, from Japan, from Korea, all listening in. So just send us an email if you would. Just put in the subject line your city, state, and country, and send that to speak.angels@gmail.com. And as you're doing that, I'd like to also mention that we're not going to sell anything tonight. We want to create a really beautiful and safe space here. We're not trying to sell any products or do anything. So, but actually our staff at the Crimson Circle has arranged for some free products, absolutely free. They're on our website at this link, so you might want to write this down also. The link is www.crimsoncircle.com/free. That's www.crimson, that's CRIMSON, circle.com/free. And you'll find some really incredible materials there. Matter of fact, there's 3 different things that we prepared just for the listeners tonight. The first is a PDF. That's a text transcript, and it's called 12 Signs of Your Awakening Divinity. You can download it, and it's very short, actually, but it's really good because we know so many people that are going through the spiritual awakening process, but a lot of them actually aren't really aware of what they're going through. The spiritual awakening process is amazing. It can be challenging, difficult, and at times you can feel really, really alone if you're not familiar with what's going on. But let me give you a few examples. Unusual body aches and pains. A lot of this is caused because your entire biology, your entire energetic system is being rewired. So it's going to show up in your back, in your shoulder, other body aches and pains. And no, it's not just because you're getting old, not just because life is rough, but you are actually going through a metamorphosis. Another one of the awakening signs is unusual sleep patterns, strange dreams, waking up at things like 2:22 or 4:44 in the morning, having crazy and intense dreams that are really difficult to figure out. This is just another one of the awakening symptoms because you're beginning to work in a very multi-dimensional, interdimensional state of being. You're not just focused in this physical reality, you're expanding into the others. So your dreams actually become so much more intense, and there's times when you're in a sound, deep sleep, and suddenly you're awake at some of these strange hours. Another one of the symptoms is a loss of passion. It's a really big one because you've had certain passions in life, certain things that you've wanted to do, or certain things that really excite you, and one day it seems like the passion is gone. Seems that there's a big emptiness. One of the reasons for this is because you're changing from having a human passion or human-based passion into a spiritual passion. And you do go through a period of time where everything seems kind of blank or meaningless because you're making way for a much larger spiritual passion to come into your life. Other things like the feeling alone, even if you're surrounded by other people, even if you have a family at home and people at work, but just a loneliness. These are all signs of the divine awakening. You can download these 12 simple things, and if nothing else, they let you know that you're just going through awakening. So that's available at the website, crimsoncircle.com/free. And there's another PDF called The Lost Children of Christ. This was a message from the angel Tobias given about, I guess it was about 9 years ago. It's a beautiful message about this whole bringing in the Christ consciousness to earth and how we, in times past, helped to bring this in. It's a beautiful read, perhaps one of the most well-read and popular of any of the messages that we have posted on our website. And finally, there's a PDF, an MP3 audio file on the website. And again, this is a message from Tobias, which I'll talk about in just a moment. It's called Do You Remember? It's a beautiful, moving message from Tobias about saying, do you remember why you wanted to come to earth? Why you wanted to take on physical body? Why you wanted to have a lifetime here on earth, but also forget why you really came here? So this particular message offers a lot of insight and a lot of inspiration and really helps people to understand why they're here and to help you remember the very reasons for choosing to come to earth. So that's just a real quick little recap. Again, if you would send an email letting us know where you're from, to speak.angels@gmail.com. And also, as we get into the evening, we are going to do a couple experiences together. And I'm going to ask if you would please have a paper and a pencil or pen ready. We'll be using that a little bit later, so you might want to get it now so you've got it close at hand. So, Linda, it looks like you're getting a few emails in, at least. Where are some of the people from that are listening in?
Well, almost just, faster than I can write it. Amazing places. Eugene, Oregon, Mumbai, India, Yorkshire, United Kingdom, Wellington, New Zealand, Ontario, Canada, Bogota, Colombia, Maracaibo, Mexico City, Berlin, Germany, Satamar, Romania. Let's see, there's Sweden, Madeira Island in Portugal, London, city sounds like Dana in Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, Finland, and Denmark. I mean, and they're just coming in, of course, faster than I could write them, including Ljubljana, Slovenia.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So actually,
Ireland.
We're going to talk kind of slow tonight, just because a lot of people listening in, English may not be their first language. So we'll try to talk a little slower so everybody can understand. But I'm going to go ahead.
I will say a sweet thing, too. I see many, many names of people that, of course, are new that we don't know, and many, many beautiful names of people that we have met in our travels.
Oh, that's great.
It's pretty sweet.
That's very sweet. So, well, let's all take a deep breath again. And I'm going to ask you just to when you're taking that deep breath, to feel all of the energies of humans connecting from all around the world right now. We're gathering to explore angels. We're gathering to explore things that go beyond our eyes and our ears and our physical senses. We're gathering to invite those angelic beings to be in our lives, to share with us, to be aware of them, to allow them to laugh with us, to cry with us, to guide us, and to serve us. Take a deep breath as we connect with humans from all over the world right now and feel the energies. They're real. They're very, very real. When we gather like this, Linda, I can feel that kind of warm, it's like a golden glow. I just want to jump up and down, and it feels so good because, we're all on a journey of discovery, of awakening, of remembering, whatever you want to call it. But we're going beyond a lot of the human limitations. We're entering into a time of compassion for ourselves, and compassion for other human beings. It's amazing. I mean, it's absolutely amazing when we gather like this, what a change you can make in our own lives and for the earth itself.
Isn't this proof in a way that you can communicate with angels?
It is. Well, right now we're actually communicating with human angels all around the world. So we welcome everyone from every corner of the world right now. And, while we're opening up and welcoming, and the emails still continue to come in, Linda's nodding her head like a lot of emails come in. By the way, I'll repeat that address, speak.angels@gmail.com. While everybody's gathering their energies together, let's take a deep breath and welcome in the angels. Now, the angels, I have to say there's so much more going on around us than what our physical senses are aware of. It's amazing right now, the energies that are joining us here on Earth. Now, they're not necessarily physical energies, but that doesn't mean you can't be aware of them. I talk about the amazing energies going on in the dream state. I don't know if you knew, but in dreams, you're not just in the mental mode. You're not just making these things up in your mind and dreaming about them. When you go off to dream at night, you really enter into other realms. You work with angels. You work with other humans who are in their dream state. You actually are helping to teach other beings who have never been to Earth before what it's like to come to Earth, to take on a physical body and to forget who they really are. There's also a lot of activity going on with angels. There's more angelic energy working with us right now than ever before, partly because the high population on Earth right now, but partly because we're going through a time of incredible transformation. We're not going to be going into transformation. We're not coming into the new times. We are in it right now. We're in that point of transformation. And sometimes it's challenging because we still feel all of the old attributes, the old energy, but we really are starting to go into the new energy. It's all around us right now. There's a lot of psychic energy on Earth right now. And I could spend an hour just talking about that. But, a lot of people who have died and gone beyond, a lot of people who have been buried on Earth, their energy is now coming up or being released from the Earth itself. People who've been buried in the ground for hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of years. A lot of that old energy is rising and being released from Earth right now. It's, of course, a whole other discussion, but I just wanted to mention it. And there's also something else very, very important right now. If you allow yourself to feel, to really listen with your heart, you're going to hear the voice of your own soul. It's been there as long as you've been here.
It's always been there.
It's been amazing, but as humans, we tend to block it out, partly because we can't see it or touch it or feel it. But I think we partly blocked it out because we wanted to experience our journey here on Earth in its own way. But now that voice of the soul, the voice of our real self is starting to come up. And I know so many of you listening in tonight have heard that voice. One of the reasons maybe why you're here tonight. One of the reasons why you tune into crimsoncircle.com or read spiritual books or are involved in spiritual activities, because the voice of your soul is starting to come through. There's angels all around us. Right now as we talk, right now as we join our energy, the angels are coming in. We'll have an experience with it in just a few minutes. But, angels have been around us ever since we've been on Earth. And it's written in history. In the Bible, they talk about angels. In a lot of literature of times past, they talk about angelic beings. There's been a lot of people who have worked with angels, who have sighted angels. It's a real thing. And
why would anybody doubt it? It's as well documented as anything. And in the biblical stories, those great and those small, all truly were visited, had relationships, had messages from angels.
Well, I think one of the reasons why is because it's hard using our current scientific technology to actually measure that energy. Or I think people expect they're supposed to see something, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But the angelic beings are at a vibration or consciousness level where you don't necessarily see them, but there's a way where you can. It's not necessarily through your physical eyes, but through your third eye. There's a way to become so acquainted with them that you just feel that energy when it comes in. A couple interesting facts talking about angels. There was a survey that was done in the United States and said that over 70% of the people surveyed believe in angels. And over 30% of them said that they had one time or another in their life felt angelic presence. Maybe when they were very young, or maybe when there was some trauma in their life, maybe when they were in the hospital for something. But 30% have actually had some experience. And I would venture to say that so many of the people listening tonight had experiences of communicating or connecting with angels when they were young.
Jeff, I'd like to ask you also, I know an awful lot of people that someone passed in their family, someone died, and that someone will tell you that after someone passed, a maid or a parent, that they felt visited by that. Do you put that in the cat? Is that an angel?
I'm going to talk about that, or we're going to talk about that in just a moment. That's a really good question. What is an angel? And there's a certain definition that I've found is appropriate. But let me give a little background here first while we're going, because I know there's a lot of people that don't know who we are. Of course, my name is Geoffrey Hoppe, and my wife is Linda. We've been married for 33 years, and we're also partners in the work that we do with tens and tens of thousands of people around the world. Linda and I didn't have a spiritual or a religious upbringing. We were born and raised in a town called Appleton, Wisconsin, Midwest town, and
big Catholic families.
Yeah, Linda came from a family of 10. I came from a family of 7, and we had a Catholic upbringing, but it wasn't strict. It was. I always considered it a little bit more social than religious, and I think both Linda and I stopped going to church at the earliest possible time. But the point is that we didn't have any background or training. We weren't raised in particularly spiritual or religious families. In our early years, we were very, very involved in the traditional business world. I had about 25 years in different types of businesses. Linda was a teacher for quite a few years, and then worked with a large company, traveled around the world doing buying and for a large retail company. And I actually have 3 technical patents. So we don't come from the type of background one would typically associate with angel talkers. But a funny thing happened one day. It was sometime in 1997. I was on a business trip. I was flying home one night. You know how it is. You're sitting in the airplane. You're kind of tired. The airplane wasn't particularly full, but so I was leaning up against the window, not really sleeping, but not awake, thinking about the day, and just couldn't wait to get home and finish the business trip. I was kind of just in that in-between state. I suddenly heard a very clear and distinct voice. And it wasn't in my head. It was outside of me. I opened my eyes and looked around, and there was nobody sitting in the seats right around me. I kind of gazed up in front and gazed behind. Nobody was talking. Everybody was either sleeping or reading. So I closed my eyes again, and after just a few moments, I heard the voice again. And the voice said, "I am Tobias. I'm here to work with you." Well, as you can imagine, I was a bit startled. And of course, one of the first things I thought is, where is that coming from? Am I making this up? But the voice continued, and we ended up having, or well, I should say, he had a very long talk with me, this Tobias. He said he was an angel, and he was here to work with me. He was here to help me understand some things in my life. It was an amazing discussion. I felt I was taken off to some other realm. I don't remember the details of it. I just remember the energy, but all I can say is it was beyond words. I drove home that night feeling like I was in a euphoric state. Went to bed that night, could barely sleep. I was so giddy and excited and overwhelmed and amazed all at the same time. Next morning I woke up, and before my feet even hit the floor, I remembered this airplane flight conversation. And a funny thing happened. As poignant and as real as that conversation was, I actually doubted it. I got in the shower and I started thinking, I must be working too hard. I was actually running 2 businesses at the time, and I thought, we haven't taken a vacation in a while. Linda's and my relationship was kind of hit and miss in terms of we barely saw each other. We were working so hard. And I really thought that I was going a little bit crazy. I actually got upset with myself for being so mentally gullible, and I forced myself to put it out of my mind. I forced myself to actually concentrate on work, on my real activities, and stop letting myself go into this imaginary state. That was followed by a feeling of anxiety, I guess what you would call depression, because that had been such an amazing 1 hour conversation. And the next day and the days that followed, everything felt so colorless compared to that phenomenal talk that I'd had with Tobias. This went on for about a week where I was just trying to focus on everything. And one night, driving home from work, I had a relatively long drive, driving home from work late one night, Tobias popped in again. This time my eyes were open, and of course I was trying to drive a car, but he continued right where he left off, and he was almost laughing, and he said, we have a lot of work to do. You're not going crazy. This is real, and I encourage you to trust yourself. The energy felt so good that we continued the talk, and we continued for a year. He would pop in, usually when I was driving home from work at night. He would pop in at other times, sometimes just before I went to bed at night or just before I actually went to sleep. Sometimes at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, Tobias would pop in. I actually found myself looking forward to the conversations. He provided me with amazing insights. Talked to me about other dimensions. Talked to me about the nature of human reality. Talked to me about what happens when a person dies. Talked to me about reincarnation, past lives, future potentials, alternative realities. It was like a science fiction book or movie being played out for me. But all this time, Tobias basically said he was taking me through spiritual basic training. He was teaching me how to feel energies in inanimate objects, things like a table or a chair. He was showing me how to feel energies in other people without being obtrusive or intrusive. He would tell me how to feel the energy in a tree or in the sky or in a bird. It was an amazing time, and there were many occasions where I got very, very mad at Tobias and told him to go away. I remember on one time he came in suddenly and announced to me, he said, "You never go home." Well, with my limited Catholic upbringing, I thought the whole point of being here was to earn your way back to heaven, to go home. And he said, "No, you never go home."
Jeff, you just said some things that I think were really helpful and useful to everyone, that when you are in a space to do this, that what you just described was an incredible unfolding of awareness.
Oh, it was. But, the whole time, Linda, it was an amazing experience, but there was a lot of times where I doubted myself, and I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, I know.
What was going on. I didn't tell Linda. I didn't tell my friends. I certainly didn't tell my business associates. I didn't tell anyone about what was going on. I loved it, and it was like my own little world that I would go into. And yes, there were times where I thought maybe I'm just manufacturing this little world. But the other times I knew I wasn't, because Tobias was telling me things I did not know. He was teaching me things that were amazing and actually worked and were very, very important. He was teaching me how to feel energies, for instance, in a meeting, in a conference with other people. And to really feel the energy in the room and the agendas, not trying to manipulate anyone, but actually rather to go into a point of acceptance. And these things were working. He taught me how to communicate with our dogs. We had 2 dogs at the time, and without words, but with feeling. So anyway, I knew something was going on. Well, one day I knew Linda was kind of sensing.
We were working hard and going in 2 different directions, and had gotten extremely disconnected and distracted.
I knew she was feeling that things were becoming a little disconnected, and they were. I was loving this friend, this angel friend Tobias, and so I decided it was time to tell her. So one day I pulled her aside and I said, "Linda, you better sit down." And of course, when your mate or spouse says that, it's usually not good news. So Linda sat down, and I said, "Linda, I need to tell you about a friend of mine." Well, you can imagine the look on her face, and all this time I was thinking, well, no, no, it's not that. And I said, Linda, I have a friend, and he's an angel, and his name is Tobias.
I was kind of relieved.
And I was afraid that she was going to think I was a little crazy, but when I told her it was just this angelic being who'd lived many lifetimes on Earth, I think she was relieved. And actually, it was a turning point, because we talked about it for a little while, and Linda said, I'd actually like to meet Tobias. I didn't know how that would go, and she said, well, I'd like to talk to him. So a couple of days later, we sat down, and I connected with Tobias, and I brought him in and spoke for him, or he delivered a message through me. I'd never done that before, so it was very awkward. It felt odd. I just always had my little private discussions with Tobias, but pretty soon Linda and Tobias are talking. Well, I'm going to make a long story short and say that led to about a year's worth of work I did with a psychologist and her clients in doing private sessions. I'd bring Tobias in, and he would talk to him about some root causes or spiritual causes of some of the traumas that they were going through. And after about a year of learning how to bring through messages from this angel, from Tobias, we finally started something called the Crimson Circle in August 1999. People were starting to hear about this angel talk that Linda and I were doing. We started the Crimson Circle as just in our living room, actually, right here where we're sitting right now. Well, since then, it's expanded. You can go to our website at www.crimsoncircle.com and look at what's involved. Well, Linda and I aren't in the corporate world anymore. We, in 2001, we started doing this work full-time with the most incredible people around the world, what we call human angels. They're in 130 different countries. They're awakening humans. They're humans who are helping to expand consciousness and to discover the spirit or the God within themselves. Since we began doing this work full-time, we've traveled to over 30 countries doing workshops and seminars. We travel about 120,000 miles a year. We've done a couple of books. And again, we've just met thousands and tens of thousands of beautiful, awakening humans around the world. So that's kind of a brief history. I guess the summary of that is Linda and I didn't come from a spiritual background. We didn't spend 5 years in an ashram. We don't know how to meditate. We aren't.
We were pretty raw.
We were pretty raw. But the point is that everybody can talk to angels. Everyone can talk to angels. And, well, let me answer the question you asked before, Linda. What is an angel? What is an angel? I'm going to take a drink of water here.
Okay.
So, an angel, angelic beings, they exist in other dimensions, but those dimensions aren't light years away from here. I mean, those dimensions are a breath away from us right now. The angelic beings are here to work with us, to serve us. A lot of them have had lifetimes or experiences on Earth, but many of them have never been on Earth before. They're here to help keep us balanced, to help us maintain a connection between our human reality and our spirit self.
Support.
They're here for support and encouragement. They're not here to tell us what job to take. They're not here to tell us how to win the lottery, and they're not here to tell us if we're supposed to stay with a partner or to leave. They don't do that. But what they do is support the decisions that we do make, and they're here to love us. They're here to absolutely love and support us, and to gently remind us of who we really are.
And don't they love us no matter what?
Absolutely. There's no judgment. There's no There's no right or wrong in their eyes. They're here for us all the time. They're around all the time. They're amazing beings. They don't necessarily have great big white wings, but actually some of them have such a presence that you can also almost see kind of an energetic wings that they have. Linda, you asked before about what if you know somebody who's crossed over, who's died? Are these angels? Well, generally, they're not what I would term regular angels. In other words, they haven't signed up to be in service to us. They're non-physical beings, and a lot of times they hang around, depending. They could hang around for months or sometimes years. They're hanging around because they haven't released some of the trauma or some of the issues that were keeping them kind of earthbound. We hear about stories of houses being haunted or ghosts and things like that, and these are beings who were in human form, crossed over to the other side, and are just kind of hanging around. These aren't the ones that we're going to connect with in just a few minutes. That's another step, another process. But tonight we're talking about the angels that are with you right now. Absolutely, I can feel them. I can sense that they're around you right now. So let's go into an experience with it. Let's go into an experience. I'm going to ask you, if you would, to have your paper and pencil handy.
They don't have a paper and pencil. Can they just?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But it could be handy if you have it close
Sure,
by. So
of course.
if you would, grab the paper and pencil and just have it on your lap or somewhere close by. If you just follow with me for a moment. Let's start with taking a deep breath. There's so many energies around us that can't be seen with the human eye, but can be felt. We start with the breathing. I invite you can close your eyes as well. Keep them open if you want, but helps me sometimes to close my eyes. Take a deep breath all the way down into your belly. When you take a deep breath, it relaxes your energetic systems. It relaxes your body, it relaxes your mind, and it relaxes your spirit or your divine. And when you take a deep breath, it also says that you're choosing life. You're bringing life force energy into your body. So when you take that deep breath, it also attracts other energies to come in and support and love you. When you take a deep breath, it's like a way of welcoming in these angels who have always been there. As you take a deep breath, remember that you're in a safe space. A safe space is that energy around you. It's that place that you're choosing to be in. And yes, the outside world can be harsh, difficult at times, but you can actually choose the safe space, your safe space. It's not about putting up walls and barriers, but it's just saying, I choose my safe space. And within my safe space, I can be who I am. I don't have to worry about anybody stealing my energy or manipulating me. You don't have to do a lot of hocus pocus or a lot of fancy mantras. This is about just choosing it. About taking a deep breath and choosing your safe space. And in that safe space, this is your consciousness. This is you. This is the house of I am. In that safe space, take a deep breath and give yourself permission to feel. To feel. You know, we've shut ourselves down from sensory awareness, from feeling, because sometimes the reality of human existence is kind of harsh. Or the emotional pains coming from other people can be harsh. We close down our feelings because maybe when you were young, when you were a child, your your parents told you to stop talking to these invisible beings, and close down your feelings because, well, just like me in the business world, I had to focus on what I was doing. But there's a lot more out there. And when you give yourself permission to feel, to open up your awareness, as Tobias taught me years ago, you really start feeling again. And I'm not talking about emotional feelings, just the reaction to events. I'm talking about feeling at a soul level, feeling the energy of the angels that are around you right now. Feeling the energy of Gaia, Mother Earth. Feeling the energy of humanity. Feeling the energy of your house. Your house, your apartment has its own essence, has its own feeling to it. It's like a vibration, but it goes beyond that. It has feeling, and by giving yourself permission, you can open up to it. So take a deep breath in this very safe space that we're in right now. Letting yourself open your feelings. Take a deep breath. And I ask you to, while you're breathing, to consciously invite one of the angels who's around you right now to come in even closer. You can say this out loud, "Dear angel, come in close." Or you can just express it in your heart, in your feelings. But angels are there all the time, but they can only get close, really close, when you invite them in. Contrary to what people think, they can't spy on you. They're not interested in looking into all of your thoughts. They're not judging. They're there just in love and support. But if you invite them in, like right now, when we're in this beautiful space together, they'll come even closer. So close that you can feel them. So close you might get that love wash going from the top of your head down through your body. So close you can almost feel them embrace you. So close that the air around you seems to change, and all they want to do is love you. All they want to do is to be close to you, to be in service to you. Take a deep breath and invite the angel in close. Take a deep breath with the angel. This angel being is just there to love you. Always has been. In some of your darkest moments, some of your biggest challenges, some of the times where you felt the most alone, your angels were there with you. Take a deep breath and invite them to be so close to you right now. It's real. I've learned, and Linda's learned in our years of working with angels, they're very real and very loving. Take a deep breath. It's an amazing feeling. Take a deep breath. Now your angel has a message for you. I'm going to ask you to feel it. You may not hear words. I'm going to ask you to feel that message in just a moment. Take a deep breath and allow the angel that's with you right now to deliver a short message to you. Take a deep breath and feel this message that your angel brings. Now don't think about it. Just feel it. Take a deep breath and feel. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to very gently just write down a few words from what you felt. A few words from what you just felt. You weren't necessarily going to hear something, maybe you did, but it's a knowingness, it's a feeling. Take a few moments and just write that down on the paper. What did you feel in the message from your angel? Take a deep breath. What did you feel in that message? And I can't say enough for everybody who's listening tonight how real this is. How real that is that the angels are standing right there. And I know you have 1,000 questions, and that's why I say we're not going to cover it in an hour. That's why we'll continue our discussion in June. We'll announce the date and time. But let's talk right now about the message. The angels were really around you. I don't care how undeserving you think that you are. The angel was there. Was right beside you and still is as we're talking. And I know a lot of you wrote the very simple message that your angel conveyed to you. A very simple message. You are loved. Or I love you. Or just the feeling of total love. When the angels first are invited in and you open yourself to receiving them and their messages, this is one of the first things they say. You are so loved. They want to reassure you. They want to let you know that you are loved by them, by your angelic family, by spirit, by all that is. They've been waiting to share this simple, simple message with you. You are loved. Some of you got this following message. Just a few short words. Trust yourself. When you trust yourself, when you get out of your mind and stop doubting and stop analyzing.
That's easier said than done.
Oh, it's much easier said than done, Linda, yes. But you know, when you trust yourself, you're going to open yourself up to a whole world of new potentials, a whole world of things that are really there with you right now, but you're closed down to, you're not aware of.
Completely changes everything.
So a lot of you got the short message, trust yourself. Or some iteration, but trust yourself. Some of you got the message, very simple message, I've been waiting. See, I think these are from the impatient angels. When you finally invite them in, when you finally open up, they say, I've been waiting, because they have been. For as many years as you've been in physical form on this earth, they've been waiting. They've been there beside you. And they want to say, I've been waiting. Thank God you're finally opening up. Don't stop here. They come in and say, I've been waiting. Or some iteration. And then the other thing a lot of you may have heard or felt was, I'm here to serve you. Because that's what the angels are for. They're here to serve us. They know this journey in the human form can be very difficult. This journey on earth. It's confusing at times. We feel lost. We're trying to rediscover ourselves. So they want to come in and say they're here to serve us. Now, they don't necessarily have the answers. They don't necessarily know the answers, but they're here to, they have a different perspective. They kind of have the 30,000-foot view of your life, and they're here to talk to you, to say, have you considered these possibilities? Have you tried opening up your heart? Have you tried feeling into energies? Just like what Tobias did with me. You know, he never told me what I had to do. He never told me what I should do. Matter of fact, he always answered my questions with an answer, or with another question, rather. But it was that feeling of love and support. Oh, he would cause me to really stretch my belief systems. He would shatter some of them at times, or give me information that would shatter them. They're there to help you and to serve you. So you might have gotten that simple message, I'm here to serve you. But one way or the other, you just open the door.
Isn't that the real most important thing, is that they're always there. It's that, can you open the door to it? Can you create the space for yourself to be able to allow yourself to sense and feel it? Life gets too fast and too many distractions, and just always comes down to, can you open that space?
And we just did. And we just
Exactly.
did. Now, it takes a lot of work or practice or play, whatever you want to look at it, to continue with that. But you just open the door and let your angels come in really, really close. And by the way, they're celebrating right now. I can feel the energy. They're dancing and celebrating and
Absolutely.
saying, look at thousands of humans in this moment together. Just open the door. Now, let me cover a few fine points. I'm looking at my watch and seeing we don't have a lot of time left, but let me cover a few points, very important points. You're not necessarily going to hear words. As a matter of fact, you probably won't hear words. Angels don't talk in English or Spanish or Deutsch or other languages. There's an angel language, and it's one of feelings, and it's one of like a knowingness. So you're not necessarily going to hear words. They're not necessarily going to grab your hand and make you write out words, auto writing. But what they're asking you to do is go beyond the mind, the analysis that occurs in the mind, and to open up and to feel the energy. You'll get a knowingness, or you might see some pictures, or you'll get a kind of a feeling. Just be with that. Don't try to analyze what did that mean. Just feel it. Because the moment you go to analysis, you tend to lose it. Now, it's challenging because your mind wants to put it in a structure and say, well, this is exactly what the angels conveyed. Don't worry about that, because what happens as you open up your feelings or your awareness, the mind in time will expand and it will begin to understand, but it doesn't have the capacity right now, or at least the capacity that's been used lately, to be able to translate or to interpret the feeling that the angels are sending you into words. You might get it tomorrow. You might get it driving down the road a week from now, but you will get it. The important thing is just feel it right now. Don't analyze it. Don't doubt it.
I've also found that in the quiet of the night, that when you leave yourself open and quiet, open space, that it's much easier for them to come close and to be there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But again, it's about a feeling, not trying to get
That's
words.
right.
Now,
You have to let go of the expectation.
yeah. Now, there's a tendency to doubt it. Well, did that really happen? But this goes back to trusting and loving yourself and saying, no, it really happened. And really, I can tell you, Linda can tell you, we came from a typical background, but when we learned to trust ourselves and to open up, it absolutely changed our life. We now travel around the world. We are away from home more than we're at home. We are absolutely loving the work that we do with all of these incredible humans around the world.
And that's probably the most stunning piece. This is happening a lot. We see
Yes.
more and more people coming saying that something's changed in their life, and they realize that there is this openness, this ability to just give yourself permission to feel and to allow and to communicate.
I want to point out something also right now. I'm feeling some people, some listeners that are feeling a little maybe frustrated. They're saying, I didn't get anything. I did my breathing when Jeff was asking me to, and I opened up, but I didn't feel anything. I didn't get anything. You didn't do anything wrong. The only thing I ask you is just repeat this. Try it again from time to time. because we've gone feelingless. We've gone shut down for a long time. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're suddenly going to have this huge opening where you're going to feel everything. Part of your mind, while I was taking you through the exercise, was part of it was skeptical, as it probably should be. Part of it was doubting whether you could do it. And so there was still that wall or that kind of invisible fence keeping you from feeling it. But you play with this. Just do it. Do some breathing and invite the angels in without expectation. One of these days, you're going to have a big aha. You're going to get it because every time you work with it, you build up more and more of an energy coming in. One of these days, it's just going to be like the floodgates opening, and you're just going to be overwhelmed with it. I want to make just a couple other points, and then I want to give some information before we have to close this session. As you open up, you invite your angels in, and you start to feel. You're going to start feeling a lot of other things. And I'll jokingly say, when Tobias taught me to open up, I started feeling the energy of trees and the energy of people. I found it very difficult to go into a crowded store or shopping mall because I was starting to feel everything. I could feel bizarre energies in public places, airports in particular. So I got a little overwhelmed. And Tobias told me, no, you can bring in or choose to feel what you want. You don't have to take in everything. I also started feeling energies from some of these disincarnate beings, what we call ghosts or spooks, or they're kind of attracted to you, actually, when you start opening up because they know, they can sense that you can feel them. But you don't start playing around with them. Just tell them it's time to go. It's time to go beyond, but don't force them to. You don't want to start playing with these energies because they have agendas. They're not here to serve you. They're here to serve themselves. You're not going to rescue them. You need some advanced training for that. So just dismiss them. And you absolutely can. They hold no power over you. Dismiss them. Work with your angels. So how do you know what's your angels? Well, it feels good. They never criticize you. They're there to love you and support you. They don't tell you what to do, but they help you see the possibilities in your life.
Potentials.
And potentials. They don't tell you you have to change your diet or quit smoking or anything like that. They don't manipulate you. They're there to love you. They're a big mirror. They're there to help you to discover the love for yourself within. Because one of these days you'll get it. You'll in a sense, you'll look into their eyes and see the love that they have for you, and will help you to learn to love yourself. There's a lot of great practical applications to communicating with the angels. And again, we'd like to continue with this. I'd like to do a 2-hour session in June. We're traveling all May. But sometime in June, to do a 2-hour session, we'll do a webcast on crimsoncircle.com. We'll announce it. We'll put it up. And if you've emailed us tonight or you fill out the form, if you get some of the free products, we'll notify you by email. We'll have a good 2-hour webcast about communicating with your angels. I have literally about 5 pages of notes that we didn't even get into tonight, and I apologize for that. The time has just flown by. But I do want to point out one thing. As you learn to connect with the angels around you, what you are really also learning to do is connect with the angel that's already within you. It's the sound of your soul. It's yourself. It's the human angel. It's your divine. It's whatever word you want to put to it. It's that love that's already there, but that's been shut down. We've been so busy in our human endeavors that we've shut down. As you open up to the angels within you, you're actually going to be able to hear yourself, and that is the greatest gift. What Tobias taught me, this angel Tobias that I talked to for years and years, What Tobias taught me was to listen to myself, to the sound of my soul. And that was the most beautiful gift. Oh, and I still love Tobias, and I still love working with him, but his greatest gift was teaching me how to connect with me. I discovered that I was an angel just as well. I just happened to be in human form. But I could think like an angel. I could sense like an angel. I could expand my energy like an angel. And I could have the compassion of an angel. And that indeed was the greatest gift. If you allow yourself to play with this, to practice, to invite your angels in to serve you, to be there for you and to love you, I know that you'll also learn that you are an angel as well. So from one angel to the other, thank you for being here tonight. A couple reminders, and then a few words from Linda as we close this session. A couple reminders. If you would, please send us an email. Let us know where you're from. You don't have to write a message. Just put it in the subject line. Let us know your city, state, and country. And send that to angel.speaks@gmail.com. And also, if you're interested in the free products that we put together for the listeners tonight, absolutely free, go to www.crimsoncircle.com/free. There's free products. Some are PDFs, and one is a MP3 audio file. They're really, really wonderful messages from Tobias, the angel that I talked to. And also, we'll keep you informed about the upcoming webcast where we'll continue this discussion of connecting with angels around you. Linda, what do you have to share?
You know, in simplest terms, it's the kindest gift you can give yourself is to take the deep breath, make the space, and allow yourself to hear and to feel. It sounds like easy, simple words, and they are, but the truth of actually just doing it, just being there, quiet, in a safe space, trusting and allowing, really miracles occur.
And you know, you're not alone. You really aren't. And I know sometimes it may feel like you are, but you really aren't. There are humans all around the world right now who are making a choice to awaken, to be an angel here on earth, to expand, to feel energies, to be able to expand into other dimensions, to be able to communicate with angels and other beings. At Crimson Circle, which is what we call a global affiliation of new energy teachers, or global affiliation of awakening humans, there are tens and tens of thousands of people that come to the Crimson Circle website. Every month we have over hundreds of thousands of visitors in countries all around the world. The website is translated into 23 languages, so if you find that you'd rather go to the German website or the French website, the materials are there. There's nothing to join, there's no dues to pay. There's a group of human angels who are helping to inspire consciousness within themselves and around the world. The work that they're doing is quiet. They're not trying to change anybody. They're not trying to evangelize. It's not a religion. But one by one, as we discover the God within ourselves, we change the potential for this planet. So with great love from Linda and myself and the angels that are still around you right now, we thank you for joining us tonight on this wonderful opportunity on Global Teleclass. We invite you to visit the Crimson Circle website at www.crimsoncircle.com. We send you our love and blessings from Golden, Colorado to your home, wherever it is.
Thank you.
And good night.